if you could trust that your pleasure serves the world, how would you show up differently? So I asked myself this question this morning, and my answer really surprised me and gave me different perspective about life and pleasure. And so I thought I could share that with you. So my reply to this question was that I will make pleasure practices my priority in life. Of course, I will not spend a day without giving myself pleasure, because I will know that this is helping people. So my mind will seek pleasure everywhere. I will be obsessed with it. And I will seek pleasure during every phase of my day. And so thinking about like a day that I can have, and thinking about every moment and how I can find pleasure in every moment, I thought that, maybe I will just send an email and I will be on my computer and I will focus on the sensation of the chair against my back and how good it feels. I will walk in the street and notice the soft breeze behind my neck or the feeling of the sun touching my face. I will touch an object like this one, for example, and I will just play with it and focus on how it feels on my skin and finding the pleasure in it. I will step into the shower and focus on the feeling of water on my body. I will drink my tea like it's a golden nectar, and I will focus on the taste. I will eat super slowly to enjoy every bite as if it was the last. And I will dress to feel. I will choose like silk and cotton and textures that my skin loves. And I will let my heart lead my life. If I felt like the pull to go to the ocean, then I will just go to the ocean. If I wanted to dance, then I will just stop and dance. And I will look for pleasure everywhere all the time. My mind will be wired to seek it. And I wouldn't want to lose a single minute without pleasure. So then why do we resist pleasure? I'm like, wow, that sounds an amazing life. So why am I not doing this all the time? And so I had like all this limiting belief coming up about pleasure and work and purpose and how hard it is to live a pleasurable working life. And well, that belief clearly came from the whole programming of like, we have to work hard to earn pleasure and blah, 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 blah. And then I thought, what if that's not true? What if I could actually believe that pleasure is my purpose? What would that look like? And, I still have the smile. So what if I could live in pleasure to see what flows effortlessly when I'm turned on by life? And I could give you thousands, millions of reasons why pleasure helps you create the life that you want. It relaxes your nervous system, it boosts your creativity, it expands your energy, and when you are in that state, everything is possible, basically. The point that I also want to make here is that I think that we've distorted our definition of pleasure, and that we turned it into something that we need to consume, and something that we need to consume instantly, and that is not going to last, something that is artificial, when in reality pleasure has always been available through our senses. So addiction to consumption and instant gratification has numbed us to our natural pleasure. And if we can't take pleasure in what is real, in our senses, in nature, in the touch with ourself, our Mother Earth, in all that has been created naturally for us, then we'll be driven to seek pleasure in what is artificial, in what is not real, and ultimately become addicted to it. And I'm telling you all of this because I'm on a sugar-free diet right now, and it's been very challenging, but it made me realize that I've been addicted to sugar to look for pleasure. And so I've also find alternative ways to I've also find alternative ways to give me pleasure, and it's 100% natural. I will make a video about that, about my experiment. I think it's very interesting. And realizing all of this, realizing that I have the choice to seek for natural pleasure that is already within me. And the more I reconnect with my body, my feelings, and the sensations in my body, the more pleasure I experience. And this year I've been experiencing a lot of different emotions and feelings and sensation, but it also has been the year where I've experienced the more pleasure in my life. I could never have imagined to experience that much pleasure just by knowing and reconnecting with my body on a deeper level. I didn't know that because I realized that I was numb to my own pleasure. I was numb, like literally, like I couldn't know that I could feel more than I was feeling a year ago, you know, but everything is possible. And my point here is that the more pleasure we experience, the more pleasurable moments in life that we attract and we live. And artificial pleasure will never give you the life that your soul is craving for. Only natural pleasure will. And it all starts with your perception, your senses, and your body. So I really invite you to respond to the question in the comment below, and let's have a talk about that, you know? Like, if you could trust that your pleasure serve the world, how would you show up differently? And what does pleasure means to you?